Welcome back to another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Rohan Cooke. I make coffee on the internet.
And my name is Ben Bicknell, and I judge people who make coffee, but only in competitions.
Oh, very relevant for today's episode. But together we are
It's Just Coffee.
The podcast for people who know it's never just coffee. Now, Ben, you know that I love you very dearly.
Thank you, Ron.
And one of
Right
the
back at
reasons,
you.
thank you so much. One of the reasons is because you're an amazing world-class barista judge.
Thank you.
Now,
Yes.
how long have you been judging barista competitions or the World Barista Championships?
The World Barista Championships. I think my first competition at the Worlds was 2010, I believe.
15 years.
Yeah, so
oh
quite a
man,
long
you
time.
must have seen so much transformation. It
Yeah.
must be so different from when you first started.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in the industry, we look a lot to the competitors. And I feel like there are some other places that we should be looking as well. One of those is right at you, at a judge. And I want to kind of dive into it and learn a little bit more about why people become judge, what it takes to become a judge, and the kind of impacts that it has on those competitions.
Yeah, I think it's a really great conversation for us to have because it's given me so much. It's such a rewarding part of my coffee journey. And I would definitely encourage people who are interested to kind of get involved with it. So yeah, it'd be good to unpack that a little bit more and discuss it a bit further.
Yeah. Now, do you have anyone that you've brought along with us today to chat about this?
Yes, indeed. It's not just going to be you and I talking today. I'm pretty excited because we have a great guest today. We really wanted to unpack all of the implications of judging and how to become a really great judge. And I thought, who better to get along than someone who actually trains judges. They don't quite judge the judges, but they kind of do a little bit of that. And it is my good friend here, Hendri Kerniawan. Welcome to the podcast, Hendri.
Hey, Hendri.
Hi.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apex Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apex Lab mineral concentrates. Apex Lab's precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apex Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apexlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going to say the website. Thanks. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good. Oh, great. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. Now, you guys obviously know each other well. It's the first time that we're meeting, and what an honor.
Yes.
Now, can you just fill us in? Give us a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay, I'm Hendri. I'm from Jakarta, Indonesia. I am the founder and organizer of coffee events called Jakarta Coffee Week, as well as running a small coffee school now called Department of Necessary Education.
I love that name.
And in between, I judge in a World Coffee Championship, also National Coffee Championship. So I started judging in 2009 for the national and started judging in the world. Actually, my first world competition was WBC in Melbourne.
Oh,
13. Nice.
Yeah,
that was the
yes.
Matt Pergy.
That was the year that Matt was competing,
Yeah,
and Pete
when-
Licata won.
when
Yep.
he came second place.
So,
Yeah.
and did I hear this right? So you're a World Barista Championship judge, but you also train the judges to become judges. Yeah, cool.
Yes, currently I also train new judges.
Now,
as
the most
well.
important question that we have to ask is, for someone that's a World Barista Championship judge, you walk into a cafe, what type of coffee are you ordering? What does a World Barista Championship judge ask for?
It's actually like I like what Ben said earlier, that I only judge on stage.
He gets a hot chocolate.
Yeah. No. I currently I enjoy a lot of hot Americano.
Yep.
Just a normal one, house blend one. That's it. Because I
Really?
think when you order house blend, it's like very specific to that place, right? So I just want to try
Now,
that
what's
one.
it like compared to here? Because the house blend here, I feel like would kind of just be like the stock standard. Where you are, do you kind of view it as more of a representation of that place that you're visiting?
Yeah, I just enjoy what they are offering there. It's like I couldn't find any other place.
I like that. And you
Something like
travel
that.
so much for your work, and you
Yes.
tasted coffee in so many different regions. Do you ever kind of get people in the cafes like baristas, they know, they're like, oh, this is Hendri, and they give you the coffee and they're like, what would you score that?
No, I'm not that famous.
Oh, I don't know, Hendri.
But in Melbourne, because I go there a lot, I know some baristas. They know me as well, but they never feel like I'm going to judge them anyway. But here, it happens so many times in Indonesia here. I don't really go to cafe shops often here because that's the thing that most of them, they know me. And the one that know me is they as a word judge, and sometimes the new barista just too afraid to serve me.
Now-
And I was like, can we just wait for my seniors? Then and I told them, it's okay, just serve me the coffee that you serve to anybody else. It's just I'm here as customer. And the second one, I don't really go there is because when they know me that I go there, they just okay, you don't have to pay. No, I'm a paying customer. I just want to have my coffee here.
Now,
So,
I don't even know what questions I'm allowed to ask, or if there are certain things that are off limit because you guys are both judges. I was going to be what kind of coffees do you go towards normally? Is it washed, or is it something a bit more funky? Or are you I am completely objective and I like all coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, my go-to coffee is a washed
There we
coffee.
go. So you can ask.
Yeah, but on competition, it's different things. Yeah, you put aside your preference.
So what I'm hearing is if someone
just,
uses a
with
natural,
coffee.
they lose. Is that what?
No. We don't do that. We put aside our preference and bias.
Yep. Yeah, that's the key thing, that our personal preference and what we like drinking every day or how we approach it is different to when we step on stage and kind of taking that judge's responsibility.
Yeah. And that's done just by looking at it, right? And sorry, we're going a bit off track here, but just for my knowledge of them telling you what it's meant to taste like, where it's going, and it kind of hitting those markers, right?
Yeah. We can definitely jump into, I think, how we unpack and score different coffees in the competitions.
It's part of the evaluation as well.
Yep, for sure. But Hendri, I wanted to ask, because you've been in coffee for a long time, was there a particular moment where you went back in when you first started in coffee, this is what I want to be doing?
I started coffee actually. I had a chance to live in Sydney for 2 years. So I worked as a barista there in '99 until 2000.
The golden
a long time
era.
ago. And after that, I went back home and started my own cafe, and I got invited to be a judge. Then all of a sudden, here I am. I judge World Coffee Championship. But this is, I think, this is the thing that I like actually. This is where I find myself, I can learn more
As
as a
we
judge.
kick off for our listeners and that, can you just give us a brief rundown of what a coffee competition judge is and what they do?
Okay, so judging is a process of evaluation of the performance of the coffee and the barista in the coffee competition. So each competition has a different set of judges, but mainly they have head judge and sensory judge, and sometimes we have technical judge. So that's the thing. So we evaluate coffee based on the sensory and also on the technical side, and then we add on some presentations from the competitors.
And these are based on, I guess, two key elements. That there's a big rules and regulations document, which kind of outlines all of the different kind of interpretations and requirements for the performance, and then also the score sheet, right? And that breaks down exactly where you put the points.
Yeah, so we only evaluate everything based on the rules regulation. We don't go beyond that.
So if it's not in that booklet, we don't consider it.
I feel like this is the biggest thing that I've learned over the last, year, really diving and learning more about competitions, is the first thing that you should do before doing anything else is read that rule book about 15 times. Spend 2 weeks just on that.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a lot of people just get undone by one tiny little thing that they're not paying attention to.
Yeah, for sure. It's a massive kind of structure there for it. But there's also different competitions, right, Hendri? You're mainly focused around the World Barista Championship format. Is that correct?
My main competition is, yes, WBC, but I also have judged in other competitions. So under World Coffee Championship, we have 7 World Championships. One is cup tasters. We don't require judge to be present on stage. And the other 6 is WBC, World Barista Championship, World Latte Art Championship, World Brewers Cup Championships, World Coffee Roasting Championships, World E-Brick or Chesfe Championship, and World Coffee and Good Spirits, I think. So I have judged 5 of those.
And so in each of those
Yeah.
competition formats, there are different judging roles, right? And as you mentioned, for World Barista
Yes.
Championship, there's sensory judges who taste the coffee that's served and
Yes.
experience the presentation elements, a head judge role who oversees kind of the
Yep.
panel of judges and kind of coordinates that side of things, and a technical judge who looks at the operation.
Yes.
What about for Brewers Cup, Hendri? What are the judging roles there?
Brewers Cup is head judge and the 3 sensory judges. So as head judge, they also evaluate the technical side of the competitors.
Yep.
So the other 3 is just sensory.
And by technical, you just mean like the skills they're using while making the coffee, or what's technical? Yeah.
Yes, like how consistent they when they pour, like how many grams the coffee they use, how much water they use. We evaluate everything. The workflow.
So like if you're looking at like Brewers Cup and they're doing like pour over, how much are you watching? Like how close do they have to be to the gram? Like when they're doing their 3 pour overs?
So we watch the scale, how the scale moves. So we have this code, like how many grams of this first pour, second pour, and third pour.
But is it like okay for it to
something
be
like that.
within like a couple grams, or are we talking like 0.1 of a gram? Like what's kind of like where you look at that technicality?
It's okay within like a point something
but
grams.
only point.
It's
no
okay.
no full grams.
It's just like but some competitors can make like really precise one. So I think that's become more standard too. It's achievable. I mean, like to have that
And
consistency.
sorry for stopping it. Head judge is just basically the judge of the judges, making sure that the judges are judging correctly. Is that kind of what a head?
The head judge will make sure that the sensory judge or the technical judge is in alignment or not calibration. So they stay calibrated like throughout the deliberation.
They almost
time.
act as a support and guidance role, I think, as well, where they're kind of helping to, depending on what level of competition you're at, the head judge is often the more experienced judge who can help provide more context, remind people about particular rule applications, things like that. At the world level, they're actually an incredible support for all of the judges to make sure that the quality of their thinking and of their kind of recording is really high, so that the competitor gets a very considered kind of feedback. And so I think probably the maybe the one other aspect of judging is in the Latte Art Championships, where you have more of a visual judge as well, right, Hendri?
Yes. So I had a chance to also my first Latte Art Championship was in Melbourne 14. Then ever since then, I think we have quite a big change. Now, in the past, I had a chance to evaluate, and you still need to drink the latte art, the cups. But now it's no more. It's just like purely.
You used to have to drink it.
Oh yeah,
latte
there
art.
was a score as well about not a huge score.
Yeah. When you push back the foam, then you have to take a sip.
Like what about like how homogenous it was,
cup.
or what were you scoring?
It was a pretty basic kind of quality assessment of the
It's
cup.
coffee.
Yeah.
But now also some of the competitions, the sponsored equipment is more fully automatic kind of equipment, and it's so.
Not even like if the super auto, then we don't have technical.
So back then, what was the latte art looking like? When did you say you were judging it?
2014 was.
So
14?
over 10 years ago. How much have we evolved in the patterns in 10 years?
Oh, we changed a lot. It's getting detailed and crazy now. Like I remember the first time I saw latte art was when Scotty Callaghan won it with the triple heart. Then and in my era, I think it's just more like swans, like very detailed tulips, wing tulips, rose. But now it's like more like animations. You can get dragons, you can get a lion's head, you can get elephants, anything.
My latte art is more of like a interpretive splatter pattern.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Interesting question here. But what is the relationship like between the competitors and the judges?
Here is the thing, like this is something that my friend said, then it still stays in my head. Most of the time, the competitors and the judge is like two different sides, right? And if you take it as like a movie, the competitor is more like the protagonist one, and the judge is like more the antagonist one. Like we try to, you know, we try to punish competitors, but actually it's not right because the spirit of the competition is always supporting the baristas and the coffee industries. So we are there actually not to punish you, but to support the baristas. That's the thing that we need to make it right.
Do the competitors feel that? I mean, if I would go back to, we spoke to Dale Harris, and he was saying that his very first one, he was like, I was probably shocking, right? He's like, but it was the best experience I ever had. I learned so much. I actually got an understanding of what I needed to do, where I needed to grow. Is that kind of the idea as like the judges, that even if you don't win, you can walk away with like a better understanding of what to do?
Yes, that is actually one attitude that we're looking for from the baristas. You take that as a feedback to make yourself better as a competitor in the future. Not when you're reading score sheets and you're not happy with it, and you can ask a lot of questions during the debriefing. But we are sometimes like put it in like a very hard the briefing time, because sometimes the competitors, they don't agree with the scores and they just like blame, oh, you're not like very calibrated judge, you're a new judge, you're not experienced yet, something like that. But
I think it's
it happens.
changed a lot, or at least it has improved and become more broadly supportive from like when I first started in competitions. And Hendri, I was telling a little while back, I told Rohan about my initial experiences. I did barista competitions myself for a couple of years.
No.
And back in those days, there was a real approach from the judges to be like stone-faced, like as in no response, no reaction at all, ever. So they wouldn't smile, they wouldn't nod, they wouldn't respond. It was like show no reaction, and it was really intimidating. You get up on stage and you're trying to be all like positive and give them a good customer service, and they're just like, no.
Yeah, it's just like I was at that area as well when we have to do like what we call poker face, right? So just like maintain your expressions like very, very, like very stiff for me back then. But now I think we change it into more like neutral face, like being friendly, like more connected with the competitors instead of like having like very, very stiff face.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, this is kind of getting to the relationship between judges and competitors, is that we're there to allow them to showcase their best presentation possible. They've done so much work, so much preparation that we want to give them a welcoming environment, just like if you had a great customer come into the cafe who is actually interested in hearing what you have to say, right? We want to be engaged and allow them a space to showcase what they have. But then obviously also not to give a quality impression, right? So it's like when you're drinking the coffee and you're just like, I'm not like going, oh, yeah. And I'm also not going, ooh,
Yeah, because that kind of expression will affecting their performance. If you like giving like a very negative expression and they start like losing everything because what did I do wrong? How was my coffee? Was it that bad? Or like something like that. So back then we need to maintain poker face, but nowadays we just like doing like neutral face. You just like being like very, very, calm.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that from watching the last few years a bit more. And also it's, there is the barista that's putting in all that hard work, but there are so many more people behind it as well, from the producers of the coffees to the teams to everyone there. And the more I'm hearing about competitions, and it's quite cool, the more I'm realizing it's just about taking the industry further and pushing the industry further and innovating. So yeah, the supportive judge kind of makes sense from that realm. With the feedback, I just wanted to jump back. So once you compete, you'll get the feedback from the judges. What would be on there and what can't you put on there?
Like our score sheets is designed like it's very, very, like very, very simple now. So you can read everything happens. So it's a recording tool for the competitors to see. So what went wrong or what went well on stage. So if you can read that, you can take it as a feedback. It's going to be good for your future competition. Because on the score sheets, we only like write down everything based on our experience on stage. And we don't coach, oh, you should have done this better. We cannot do that. But everything is just like recording, which might help you if you understand, oh, I did this because of this, you have to translate it yourself because you cannot just like, oh, you have to do this better.
Right.
No.
So it's like judging
I think
versus
that's
coaching kind of thing. Like judging is here's what coaching would be like. Here's how you'd fix that. Right.
And the thing is sometimes just like, oh, we tasted the coffee, it doesn't taste like this before. Like it's much better. Why the score is very low on the stage? And I just like, like when you taste it, it's different environment and the stage. It could be a lot of things going on. Why your coffee is extracted different. So here's the thing, like most of competitive things, when they use like very expensive coffee, they should have like higher scores. I think that's a wrong mindset because what we actually exploiting in coffee competition is actually the quality of the extraction, not the quality of coffee. For coffee, you have another competition just for the coffee, but in this competition, everything's the quality of the extraction.
Yeah.
So we've touched on what a judge is and what they do, but the question that I want to know is like, how do you become a judge? I feel like you said you were asked, like, if I wanted to become a judge today, how would I do that?
To become a judge, first you need to understand what is this coffee also all about. You need to know how to make coffee. You need to understand about. You need to have the sensory skills. I think that's the basic thing.
You're in. You've got them. It's okay. You've got them.
How to make coffee, right? But then again, then you start from the smallest competition. I mean, like you don't have to go to the national, but some cases you can go straight to the national because they're new in the competition. But more and more countries now having like more like regional competition to start with. That's the thing. Then they step up from there. But my suggestion, if you want to become a judge, you always start big as a volunteer. Because when you do volunteer, when you become volunteer, you understand how the competition works. And now, World Coffee Events or World Coffee Championship just released the new program, what they call Judge Skills Program. So it's a 2-day sessions where all the reps explain about the competition as a whole. What we judge, like how many judge, what the rounds are, something like that, like the whole in 2 days. Part of a learning path for become a judge in the future.
So the pathway, I guess, is that, and not everyone who's listening might be aware of this, but the World Barista Championships, for example, which is just one of the competitions, has all of these different countries. I think there's close to 60 countries maybe competing this year. Yep.
Yes.
And so each of those countries will have its own national level competition that selects its champion. And sometimes, as Hendri was saying, if it's a more established coffee industry or it's a large country, they might have regional competitions, so like state or region-based ones, where they have regional champions that then travel to a national level comp, and you kind of narrow down your champions. And so often a good way to start is, as Hendri is saying, is at that regional kind of level. It's generally like, a broader range of competitors, some experienced, some less experienced, and there are more opportunities. But as he said, there's a lot that goes on at a competition, and there's a lot to figure out to be a judge. So sometimes the volunteering, then there's lots of great volunteer roles, will get you close to the action. You see what the landscape is, and then you can kind of understand the flow of that before you throw yourself in the deep end with a score sheet.
And also understanding the rules and regulation for each competition.
Yeah.
It's very
Read the rules and regulations. And so, in terms of once people start that training to become a judge there, Hendri, what kind of training is needed for maybe at like a national level?
Because main of the scores is sensory. I think you need to practice about sensory. You need to cup a lot of coffee, different coffees. And also if you're interested more in barista, then you need to cup a lot of espressos and milk beverage.
Yep.
You need to smell some vials.
And also you have to join the calibration days, or nowadays we call it alignment days.
Yeah.
So if even though, like for me, like I always said, like, even though you're a certified judge, doesn't mean you're calibrated or aligned now, because you still need to go to the calibration day.
Ben gave me some sensory training the other day, and we were going through some of those little smelly vial things.
Cafe.
Cafe. Oh man, I need to send them a message just saying, I was like, I should get one of these. And then they were like, it's like $800 or something for the set.
A bargain, mate.
It's amazing, but I was like, that's expensive. For me, just being like, I'm just going to practice smelling some things. I was like, yeah.
Well, I think this is the training. If you're looking to become a judge or you're interested in it, as Hendri said, do some sensory training, taste a whole range of different coffees, that aren't just your normal coffees, because you'll be exposed to a lot of things. Read those rules and regulations so that you actually understand what's required. And then I think that there's that training about the flow of the performance, I think, is very interesting as well, right?
The workflow of the competitors, the presentation, how they talk, how they explain the coffee. Is it delivered or not?
Yep.
Something
now, this is a bit of a random question, but do you find that like learning sensory stuff, because one thing would be like tasting coffees and looking at the tasting notes on a bag of coffee. Is there any, like, I feel like tasting notes on bags of coffee could be like sometimes spot on and sometimes like, I'm like, I don't taste any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's throwing you out of like trying to learn what a coffee tastes like and you're reading pineapple on a bag, then it tastes like, malic acid or apples or whatever. I guess that's just a learning thing where you, as you get better, you're like, that's wrong.
I think how to do that. I mean, like how I practice myself. Like I'm coming from tropical countries. I don't have like all those floral from Nordic, something like that, right? Or even like fruits. We have different fruits. Then what I do, like if I go to some places or some country, then I get a chance to buy those fruits from the supermarket. I just like pick up and then I taste like have a taste. Oh, so I put this is a peach like, this is nectarines like, tangerines like, something like that. That's how I train myself.
That's cool.
I think that's a good tip for anyone who's wanting to expand their sensory skills is taste lots of different things and be kind of very mindful in that moment that you are tasting it is how would you describe it? How do you kind of lock that sensory memory in so that you're like, oh, a nectarine is kind of interesting because it's got the sweet, but it's also got a little bit of tart. There's some acidity in there. Or like a peach is quite floral as well as having that sweet fruit character. So lock those in. Aside from sensory skills, Hendri, what are some of the other key skills that you think a great judge needs to have?
This is what I've been teaching to my students lately. Like when you judge, you already have these sensory skills because you cannot judge without that sensory skills, right? So what makes you different is actually you need to develop your another skills. What I call is cognitive skills. Cognitive skills means like you have to have the skills to make a quick decision in short amount of time. I think that's more important as a judge now because like a lot of great cupper or very good tasters, they cannot make a quick decisions on stage. Because when we talk about competition in WBC, Brewers Cup, we talk about minutes or seconds. When they serve coffee, you need to taste. Then you have numbers already in your mind. I think you need to develop the cognitive skills.
Decisive assessment.
Make a quick decision. What's this taste like and what's the score on this in particular area?
I think as well, another one of the skills that I've found has been really critical is a kind of selective focus. Because as you are sitting there as a judge, you've got a lot of different things coming towards you. You've got information, you're thinking about the score sheet, you maybe have just tasted an espresso and they're still talking to you. And all of it is part of the experience, but there are key things that you have to really focus in on that like the broad story about the coffee is valuable, but you need to know, are they hitting the key points about processing and kind of, flavor descriptors? And the story about how they discovered it is good to have in there, but you really need to go, what do I need to assess this really well?
Yes, that's correct. Selective focus.
And I think as well, there's some other skills there about writing good notes.
It must be tough.
It's one of the one of the requirement if you want to pass the certification. It's legible handwriting. I got really good friends that in the past he never become a judge because we couldn't read what he wrote.
Heartbreaking.
But he's a good cupper, he's a good cupper. He like very precise. He can explain, but in terms of writing, in a short amount of time,
if you want to be a judge, start working on the legibility of your handwriting.
Yes.
That's a key one there. Now, I'm going to come right out here. And, this isn't a statement coming from me. It's a question that I've heard. What do you think of this statement when people say, those that can't compete, judge? Not from me.
Sometimes I says like it's easier to judge than do, right?
Yeah. If you can't do, teach.
Yeah.
I think both sides has a different skills to have. Like I mean, like some people that I cannot compete, but I think I'm really good in judging.
Yeah, that's what a judge would
So
say,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's, they just like like it's just there. Like you cannot say like, oh, I cannot compete. That's why I judge. I think it's just like it's just different pathway. All of a sudden, it's just like there. Like some spend more time in competing, some spend more time in judging. But lately, I got a lot of friends that judge with me together, coming from the
Yes.
competition.
Yeah.
So it's just like we have like some of world champions become a judge now. They want to be part of the other side.
Yeah.
I think.
Like as Hendri is saying, it's not one or the other. You need both sides, obviously, to make the whole thing work. And they do require quite different skill sets. I mean, to be a great competitor is an incredible collection of skill sets, from being able to multitask and talk and public speaking. And you obviously don't need those skill sets as a judge. But the judges need all of these other, the sensory skills, the analytical kind of skills, and the ability to kind of provide that feedback as well, I guess, and to work with a judging pool to give a consistent result.
Yeah. For instance, latte art. Like I already mentioned that my latte skills is like smash garlic things. But I know how to evaluate latte because when you look at the score sheet, it's very technical. It's very technical. You're talking about contrast. You're talking about definitions. You're talking about harmony, size, and position. You're talking about surface appearance, if it's like bubbles or not. You can see it. Like it's very technical there. It doesn't have anything to do with art anymore when we evaluate.
And I would say though that there was a bit of a, maybe not controversy, but it was certainly a shift a number of years back where there was a real drive to say, okay, you as a judge might not be like a world-class barista, but you need to have a certain level of knowledge and ability to be able to fairly evaluate what these really top-level baristas are doing and presenting, right? Like how am I meant to be a judge of someone who is, really pushing the boundaries of progressive like knowledge or processing or a particular new piece of technology if I don't know the basics of making coffee, right? So there is a threshold of like, you need to have a level of capability and an informed kind of knowledge, because otherwise if someone kind of gets on stage and tells you, well, I'm doing this thing that radically transforms my coffee from tasting like popcorn to blueberries, and I'm doing that through this magical technique, you need to have enough context to kind of understand, is that even possible?
I have one. I remember I have one judge in like for about 3 years, and he's coming not from a coffee industry, but he loves coffee. He drinks coffee. He learned how to make coffee. He knows how to taste coffee. But he was, I think he was a NASA engineer.
Yeah.
So his full-time job is a NASA engineer. So we judged in a couple of world championships, and I asked why you become a world judge because and he told me because people look down when I talk about coffee. So I decided myself like I want to try to judge, and I passed the certification, and he judged.
What's just talking about that? I mean, you're saying like you have to have an understanding. What's the most you've been blown away at a competition, Hendri? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Most memorable. Most
Sorry,
memorable kind of moments at a competition.
I think some of the baristas like influence a lot of us nowadays. I think like Matt Berger 13 is also making a big impact for us. I think it's very memorable for me as well how he performed back then with the EK, with the milk, with the names of the cows and everything, something like that. And also a lot of things that Ben did, like freeze distilled. Now it changed the industry for us. I think that's very memorable for us.
What about you, Benny boy? We've probably talked about it before, but just it's just interesting seeing like we have done a past episode where or maybe it's coming up, where we talked about all the innovations there. Was there something that like at the time you were just like, oh wow?
Yeah, look, I think some of it's been sensory experiences that have been completely new that people put in front of me, and where I get to taste like a coffee that might be a new species that I've maybe tasted before, but at the competition level, it's put in front of you at a really fine-tuned point. But there's also been some of the really kind of grass level experiences that I've had that have been really stuck with me more from an emotional point of view than maybe kind of the most exceptional coffee. But people get up on stage and tell incredibly moving kind of stories about their journey and their personal values. And then they're really connecting with you and putting it all on the line. And I think some of those have been pretty amazing. Just judging at regional competitions, not even at a national level, or sometimes judging at new national level competitions where it's the first time that people have ever had a chance to do this. Yeah, some of those are little spine-tingling moments. There's some incredibly theatrical performances as well, where there's the smoke and the liquid nitrogen and all kinds of things going, and when the music just connects as well, and you kind of go, wow, I'm being taken on this journey. They are the moments where just it feels magic.
Well, that kind of leads me into what I was just about to ask as well. So we've talked about like how you can become a judge, but I kind of want to know like why you want to become a judge. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good reason right there, but are there any other reasons of why you actually choose to become a coffee judge?
My first competition was the national. I was invited back then in 2009. Indonesia wasn't sanctioned, so they don't send competitors to World Championship. And how we select the judges back then is just like because you work in the coffee industry, that you are invited to judge there. So I had a few sessions as a national judge, and I think I like this one, so I think I want to continue. So 2009, then our second competition is 2011. So we have like once in every 2 years. But then, since then, I judge in the region. I judge in Southeast Asia, mostly Singapore and Thailand. So, and what drives me more to become a world judge is like I had this moment when I try to interpret one of the rules regulation with my seniors, and we came to a disagreement about this particular evaluation protocol. And I want to go to the world and prove I was wrong. I was right. So I went to the certification, then I was right.
Into the story goes right. Hendri's always right, really.
Absolutely.
That's the moral of the story.
I think that one of the reasons why I want to become a world judge.
I mean, there's so much of it. Like, let's talk about the nice side of it, where it's like it's supporting the industry, innovation. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'd take a bit of an ego trip from it as well, being like, I'm a judge of the World Barista Champions.
Mum, maybe you shouldn't be a judge.
I think I should be.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's great to be proud of these things. I'm definitely proud of kind of being able to be part of this. But I think there's some really great reasons to get involved in it for sure. As I said at the beginning, I've got so much out of the experience and the professional development for sure, like the opportunities to learn, not only from the competitors and what they're serving out, so you are learning all of this groundbreaking new information and tasting different things, but also from the other judges. You are in a room or over the course of a competition with often these amazing peers of yours, but in a neutral environment, right? You're not buying or selling coffee. Yeah. You're not competing against each other. You're just kind of gathering around and going, oh, is this good quality? Is this not? How do we work together?
Yeah, I see. Actually, like what I said earlier is when you judge, actually you learn on stage. You see everything beforehand on stage, and this actually could happen on stage with this coffee, with this kind of processing. So actually you learn as well.
I think
it's a good opportunity to learn when you judge.
That opportunity, I think judging is a great opportunity for professional like skill development, because especially if you do it for the first time, you're basically going into a space where there's a structured format for assessing and evaluating the quality of coffee in whichever format, whether it be brewed coffee in the World Brewers Cup or espresso and milk coffees. And it might not be the perfect way of doing it, but it is actually one of the most global standards for what is quality of espresso.
Kind of like the Q grader thing, but on a different scale. Of
exactly.
Like, good to have on the resume and hone on those skills.
Yeah, look, it's great for career progression as well. If you can kind of get certified at higher levels, it can be a valuable kind of thing. But I think that networking and community, the skill development, and kind of the ability to expose yourself to all kinds of new innovative ideas, it's pretty valuable.
That's why I started a coffee podcast.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
talk to people and learn a bit more.
Yeah, it's all about networking now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of good reasons about why it's valuable to start judging, and I would encourage people to do this. What are some reasons why you shouldn't become a judge?
It's expensive, it's time consuming.
It's expensive and time consuming. Yeah.
Wait, why is it expensive?
Why it's expensive? Because we, as a judge, we are volunteers.
Yes.
Oh, they
Yeah,
don't fly
volunteers.
you.
Yeah, we have to pay for our notion.
No.
and
It might be. It's probably one of the worst kept secrets, but any barista competition, or pretty much everyone that I've heard of, including the national comps, is fully voluntary as a judge. So they're kind of covering pretty much all of the costs.
Guess I won't become a judge.
Yeah, let's say like Australian Championship, if it's done in Melbourne, right? All these judges from Perth, from Adelaide, from Gold Coast, they need to
Yes.
fly, and they need to find their own flight, they find their own accommodations, transport to the venue.
Yeah.
So it's
It is
expensive.
a big commitment. And, there's been a lot of conversation
is.
about how it would be great to offset that professional investment from judges. And hopefully, hey, if there's any great sponsors or like tourism boards or someone who wants to get on, there's going to be a whole heap of world level competitor judges flying into Milan soon who definitely need some financial support.
Tourism Italy.
Please.
I had a question. We were talking before about how you become a judge and you can start at regionals or those kind of things. What do you do once you're doing that? How do you move from that to a world stage? Are you being judged? Are people seeing how calibrated you are? What training can you do to make that next step to get on the bigger stage?
So your regional is like every championship, right? Regardless regional, national, or world, is still like learning place. But you need to do from the smaller one, regional. Then you have to do the nationals. And in order you want to join the world championship, you have to have 2 years experience in the same competition, and you have the right to do the test or the certification. And you've passed, then you can become a world judge. In my case, I started, like I told you, like I started in 2009. 2010 and 11, I started judging in regionals. So 2011, I joined the certification in Seoul, and I failed. So it doesn't mean it's like I thought with my experience I can pass the certification, but I didn't. But I tried again the next year, 2012, in Nagoya. Then I passed that day. So my first championship is in Melbourne. So I thought like with all this experience I had, like I was a Q grader, a CA certified barista, something like that. But I didn't pass.
It requires a particular set of skills, as Liam Neeson would say. But
I will find you and I will judge your coffee.
yeah, exactly. Could be a brutal assessment from Liam Neeson. But I think that if you want to kind of level up, I guess the point is that generally the regional competitions are a little bit more forgiving and allowance of new people kind of coming in and inducting in. But to then go to a national level and judge at the national kind of competition, you generally, even the national bodies will often have a certification process to make sure, the big focus for any competition body, whether it be national or at the Worlds, is making sure that the judges are going to be of a caliber to meet a really high-end barista on stage, and that they'll do justice to the barista's performance and not make any mistakes or rule misinterpretations, and they can work within the team. So, yeah, as Hendri said, there's a really strong pathway there for becoming kind of a world judge in terms of the pathway. But then, Hendri, what have you seen like some of the biggest, I guess, the most important skills from someone who's going from a national competition level to wanting to take that workshop and become a world judge? What are the areas that you found the most important for people to work on improving?
Like I said, it's a cognitive skills, make a quick decisions, and maintain your calibration. I mean, like, you cannot be like floating around when you judge. You have to be consistent throughout the rounds or throughout with every competitor you judge. You need to be consistent in judging. I think that makes you going to the world level very consistent.
Now, can I line up a question for both of you? I want to flip it. We've talked about being a judge in that. But now from like the competitors' kind of point of view, what should competitors, like what are the key things that judges are going to be looking for when a competitor steps on the stage? What should they be thinking about to impress you guys?
You want to take that, Hendri?
You can also, but for me, it's just like mainly because it's sensory. We need a great coffee on stage, of course. Great coffee with a great customer service presentation.
Yeah.
I think like the past two competitions, I think the score is very tight. I think it's decided by the performance, the presentations instead of coffee.
Yeah, I mean, look at the score sheets is kind of the critical thing. That's all we are doing as judges. As Hendri said, we're not kind of venturing out beyond the rules and regulations and the score sheet. So look at where all the points, but certainly, you know, some of a large volume of those points are what's in the cup, right? And there's all of these point multipliers on there. So that's on taste experience. It's on accuracy of your descriptors. So that's a major thing. And then I would say as well that, you know, as judges, one of the things that we're always asking on beyond the cup is kind of the why people are doing that. Is there the information presented about what they're trying to achieve and then did it occur? Would you say that's correct, Hendri?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's more like a connection between the competitors and the judge beyond the 12 cups served or in barista or any cups in other competitions. So connection, how you make them feel.
Yes. So it's not just, there's a phrase in the rules and regulations about, you know, demonstrating knowledge beyond the 12 drinks served, the cups served. So it's not just about like put down a cup, walk away and the cup scores really well. It's also about, you know, certainly any of these championships is about identifying kind of a representative for the industry. So it's their ability to kind of provide the connective points between coffee selection, what you're going to be tasting in the cup, and what they wanted to express kind of overall. And that really comes out with like the signature drinks and kind of other areas there. So making sure there's clear connection between all of those elements.
Yeah, cool. And what about those that aren't maybe necessarily competing, but are just like a barista working at a cafe or a home barista? What do you reckon they could take from these like score sheets and judging that they could apply to themselves to try to become better at what they do?
Great question.
I would say like more competitors now coming from home brewers now. So they want to, I don't know, try their luck on the competition, but I think they just want to prove themselves as a home baristas. They can do a lot on a world level as well. And they take them as a feedback. And when they go home, they just like based on the feedback they got from the score sheets, they can learn like, oh, I need to improve better on the skill set or coffee. So there's just like two sides of that, coffee or the technique. But basically,
In your training workshops with the Department of Necessary Education, is that that's the name? Have you incorporated some of the requirements or the framework from the competitions in the kind of education you do there?
I'm building my venue, so it's like very competition forward. So the layout is like my table setup is like barista competition layout, something like that. So you just like so everyone who wants to practice, they can go there also like make themselves like used to with the format, something like that. That's the closest thing that I can do with my venue now.
Yeah, I found that if you're listening along to the podcast and you don't really want to step up on stage and necessarily put yourself out there to compete, that the rules and regulations document can kind of seem a little wordy and a little long because it kind of details every possible thing. But if you look at things like the definition of each of the beverages and how the sensory experience is broken down, it can provide you a really good framework for thinking about how do I assess quality coffee? And you might even be able to take that. I've seen people, Hendri, use, let's say, the espresso or the milk beverage assessment protocols, use that in their QC or QA program in like a roastery or in a cafe.
Yes. Yes, that's what I did as well. I mean, like I use the score sheet from Brewers Cup or from Barista if I want to do calibration with my own coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, like helping tools
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And also talking about rules regulation, I think a lot of people don't really understand this as a whole. Rules and regulation is a living book, so it's always
Yes.
updated every year. So when people said like I read like the rules regulation, but have you read the updated as well? It always comes with a summary of changes.
We
So,
talked with
okay.
Dale Harris, the 2017 World Barista Champion, and he said one of his key things is take the technical score sheet and stick it up next to your espresso machine.
Yeah, that was a great
Because
idea.
it's not the be all and end all, but it is a great framework for generally the best practice foundations that you can move forward with. Hendri, like the competitions have been going for quite a while now. I think 2001 was when the first World Barista Championship was. 2000 or 2001?
Yeah. This year, that's why it's Milan. I really want to go if I get my visa. I mean, like, I really want to go because this is the 25th years
Yes.
of WBC. So they're going to have like some celebration, I think.
It's a huge history of it. And the competitions, as we've said, are now kind of global. You're not just a judge, you also, as we mentioned, were a representative for World Coffee events. So you travel to lots of different countries and support the national bodies there in making sure those comps are great. So you've seen the impact of competitions kind of in these coffee communities. What's some of the biggest changes you've seen happen because of them?
So I would say the impact of coffee competition is, I would say it's like a booster of the industry, especially with, like coffee research has been there, here and there, right? For a long time. But with this competition, it boosts like very fast. It's like, if it's like in a movie, Fast and Furious, this is like the nose.
Now we're talking.
I think
It's
this
all
is
about
enough.
family.
It's like boom. It's just like boom. With a lot of new processings, like someone won the competition with new processing and it just like happens to be everywhere now. Or someone used these tools that's just like everywhere now. So I think the impact is like very, very powerful from a competition to shape the industries even faster or something like that. So I think like as a rep, like I had the chance to go here and there like for a competition, and I saw a lot of things from that particular country. I think Australia is one of the best countries because you have like a lot of world champions, and also like shaping the industries faster from Australia. Like when you talk about coffee in Melbourne, it's like the global, like they said, it's the specialty coffee capital of the world. Like for Indonesian, like we have many students coming back from Australia. They studied in Melbourne or Sydney or Perth or Adelaide. They just open like Melbourne Cafe. So it's very impactful for
I have to say, though, after visiting Jakarta recently for the World of Coffee event there and seeing the coffee community and the cafes that are in Jakarta, I mean, you can see they're obviously inspired.
We have 200. We have almost like 300 million people. We love coffee. We drink coffee a lot. When with those things coming up, like boom, it's just here.
It's amazing,
especially with the World Championship.
Yeah. And I know personally I've seen the impact of the competitions really lift up kind of, I guess, emerging coffee consuming kind of regions as well. And so there's kind of this two-tone thing of like very mature markets like North America or parts of Europe and Scandinavia where the competitions are really pushing that pointy edge of innovation. But then at more kind of, I guess, emerging kind of consuming spaces, that the competitions have been such a strong part of laying a great foundation for specialty coffee. And I've seen that kind of year on year. You go back to the same place and the quality just leapfrogs because they've got this format to reference. Is that some of your experience as well, Hendri?
Yeah, of course. I think it's been a journey. Like leapfrog for me, it's more like boost, even like very fast.
Yeah,
even faster.
Now I've got a few final questions if we can dive in. So it's obviously been very big in the coffee industry, like infused, fermented, modified kind of coffees. How are these looked at in competitions? Like, when is coffee not actually coffee anymore?
Oh, this is the tough one too. And all I can say is it's innocent until it's proven guilty.
Oh, okay.
So on set we just like cup and we evaluate based on the technical sides of the score sheet. That's the best we
So
can
you
do.
don't sit there and you go like, I think something sketchy is happening here.
We can't make the assumption.
We cannot have this bias or any personal preference to some certain attributes of the coffee.
This is like
Just
a pulled piece of. Oh, is that watermelon? Oh well, an interesting extraction method.
we just need to break down everything based on the score sheet. We talk about the acidity, like how the intensity of the acidity, the sweetness, and the bitterness. That's all the best we can
And
do.
I think one of the great conversations around this that's happened within the judging pool has also been that, encouraging an openness that we want to just allow for the expression of new flavors, but then also kind of because at the really top end, we're honing in on the quality of the balance that's in there and the quality of the expression. And sometimes for all kinds of different reasons, you get like some coffees, whatever the fermentation process, that are not elegantly balanced, or that the quality of the flavor profile and the taste experience is still not meeting what we need from the competition perspective.
Yep.
I think competitors always need to just kind of keep that in mind, is that what's there, it's not about just intensity of flavor. That's not the only thing that we are looking at for the score sheet. And so sometimes you need to make sure that your coffee, well, all the time, you need to make sure that your coffee has that sweet, acidic, bitter kind of balance from a taste perspective.
Yeah, I agree.
What about, so we've talked about the coffee side of it, but one change that was made is the introduction of alternative milks. Did that impact how the competition was judged?
Not really. It's the same things. It's just like for the big beverage, we always we evaluate based on the score sheet or the rules regulation says it's a balance of sweet of the milk and the espresso taste. So regardless of what kind of milk you use, we still like looking at the same thing, the balance of sweetness of the milk and the espresso.
And I think one of the benefits of this, so this kind of change, if people haven't heard of it, is that, the World Barista Championships in particular, the milk beverage used to be all cow's milk. It was the only kind of cow's milk was allowed.
No sheep's milk?
No sheep's milk. I did judge a national competition somewhere with camel milk.
Oh, camel milk.
It was like one of the first UAE Barista Championships. The sponsor was definitely a camel milk sponsor. That was pretty intense.
Hump day.
But it was a hump day coffee. I like it. But I think one of the good things about the introduction of, or the opening up of what kind of milks you could use in the competition has meant that we as judges get to experience all these creative ways of crafting blended milks. Like, so a little bit of cow's milk, a little bit of oat milk, some, lactose-free, all of these different experiments that kind of forces us to taste coffee and taste these beverages in ways that maybe we normally wouldn't get, think of trying.
I like it. The competition's about innovation in that way. So it's like, it only makes sense. That's where the world is moving. So, and there's, it's global as well.
That's when we said like World Coffee Championship is very open to everything. Like we're not like close-minded. We just like open to every innovation, trends, and new market.
Have you ever seen a camel being milked? What?
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
I've never, but I tried the milk. I tried the milk from the supermarket when I just
What's it taste like?
Oh, it's like it's more fatty.
More fatty.
More fatty. Yeah, more fatty.
It's rich.
Like more.
It's got
it's
definitely has
rich.
a distinctive flavor to it.
Camel-y.
Kind of. It's, I guess it would most similar to goat milk. I think from my experience. It's.
I think as long as not human milk, I think nowadays
that is no human milk allowed in the competition.
Why not? That's innovation.
Let's move on.
I've seen bodybuilders are paying a lot of money for breast milk because of all the like super nutrients and stuff in it. That it's wild.
I know you were looking at me and thinking bodybuilder, right?
I just wanted I wanted the nips. I was like,
up here, Rohan.
Oh, sorry.
Up here.
My eyes are up here.
Okay, we're moving right along.
Actually, if you want to research about milk, the one had a very high nutrition. It's like cockroach
milk.
What?
What?
Yeah, you just Google something. Cockroach milk.
How do you milk a cockroach?
It's good. It's one of the superfood in the future.
Okay,
oh my God.
and any competitors listening in, do not take this as advice. This is not coaching.
Cockroach milk. Oh my God, that's going to be Jack Simpson coming in with cockroach milk for his.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that really went in a different direction. But final thoughts, Ben.
Look, I guess, Hendri, you've seen so many judges, but I'm sure just like myself had mentors around the world. Are there any particular messages that you'd like for potential judges or existing judges to kind of keep in mind?
I think it's integrity. I think as a judge, you need to have integrity. It's cheap, it's free. No, it's free, but not many has it. Integrity.
Great.
Do you think Ben has it?
I think, yeah.
That was not confident. That was not confident at all.
Thanks, Hendri.
You've heard it here
Thanks.
first, folks.
It's like, yeah, I guess so.
It's a small industry. I mean, like it's like the second biggest industry in the world, but I think it's a very small world. You know, like in every coffee event, you will meet this guy again and this white guy. And you again business. So if you don't have the integrity, I think if you don't have your name clean, I think a lot of people will talk.
They will talk. Wow.
And Ben's been around since 2010, so I think.
Oh, there we go. Right? I was starting to get a little hot under the collar there. I couldn't tell whether it was the integrity or that, or maybe it's because it's time for an extra hot take with 2 sugars.
Okay.
With 2 sugars. Oh my goodness. I mean, that was almost a hot take right there. I thought we were coming into. But Hendri, do you have any hot takes that you'd like to share with us today?
I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I think like coffee competition is in the border become a sales pitch, you know.
A sales pitch, go on.
And an acting competition. But, you know, like a lot of people might not agree, but I think it's more like acting competition is a sales pitch.
You're speaking this guy's language because I think he has said something similar before. Tell us, Rohan, what's your thoughts?
I did. Well, I think when we were chatting with Dale, I was like, you could just get anyone to do this as a great actor. Just hire a Daniel Day-Lewis, slap him up there, tell him what to do. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, because based on the experience I had during the briefing, you know, like it's like totally different persons, like on stage and off stage, you know, like.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like maybe like more like an acting.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so. I think Dale kind of responded to Rohan's comment around a similar thing here where he was saying...
Who cares?
That, well, no, he was also saying though that you've really got to kind of love coffee because you can be a great actor and presenter, but it's when things go wrong on stage, if you're not actually an experienced barista, you have no chance of recovering.
Yeah.
And so the likelihood that you'd have someone who has no actual connection with coffee performing.
I would say I would agree with that. My point more so looking at it is someone that's just like a good barista and understands coffee. Maybe you could like, who's a better performer than someone who's the best barista in the world could perform better because like I said, a lot of them will pick the coffees and help with the drink, but technically you don't need to pick the coffees. You don't need to create the signature drink. You don't need to do all of that work and come up with the innovation. You could just be told everything of what you need to do and go up there and do it. If someone took me and gave me the best innovation, the best recipe, the whatever, they could just put me up and I could go do it, even though I am not the world's best barista. I mean, maybe I am.
You could. It's yet to be shown.
All right. My hot take has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It was just, I was making some the other day as like an experiment. Cold brew just sucks. Like, why does it even exist? It's like cold brew coffee is so stupid. It's like, just like, let's make dead coffee and serve it up. The only reason cold brew is good is it gives stale old coffee a reason to be around.
Wow. Just tell us what you really think.
But it's just dead. It's just basically coffee that people want to be able to add flavor to and be caffeinated with. That's the only reason it exists. It like takes all the life out. It takes all the nuance out. It takes out the acidity. It's just a dull nuttiness in a cup and it's stupid.
What do you think, Hendri?
I'm not really agree because sometimes I tasted great coffee in cold brew as well.
Well, I think, you're speaking here sitting in Australia, but in Southeast Asia and North America, like cold brew, in fact, they were just saying that cold brew is like the major winner of the summer of North America. Like the demand for it is huge. But why? If it's as bad as you are saying, why are consumers flocking towards it?
Because it people are stupid and like boring things because it's got no acidity. It's just smooth. They're like, oh, it's so smooth. I can drink it so easily. What are you talking about in North America? They're just pumping stuff into this. You're a World Barista Championship judge. They're just putting like vanilla, which is fine. I know it can taste yum, but if I'm doing that with the cold brew, I don't like cold brew. I like hazelnut syrup and whatever. And
so what you're saying is that we should introduce a cold brew championship so that innovation and flavors can be developed.
I think there are things that you can do with cold brew. I'm talking about in general. I know Jamie, we experimented with doing hot cold brew, which is starting with hot water. And then letting it sit to extract, because the hot water is going to extract certain flavor compounds that you're not going to get when it just sits in cold water.
You mean flash chilled? Are we talking about like properly hot extraction and then flash chilling the cold brew?
No.
Okay.
But that's another way of doing it, like Japanese method, right? The flash, which is like pouring a pour over onto ice. So you're going to get a lot more acidity. You're going to get a lot more like of the nuance of the coffee. No, with Jamie, we were just doing like pouring like French press style, like hot water, letting it cool and then letting it do its thing. We need to ask him more about that. But
look, I know you're saying it's controversial, but I kind of agree. I have had the exceptions of like, some cold brew coffees that are tasty, but more often than not, if I see it on a menu, I will not order it. I just am not excited by the flavors that are there. And I think sometimes it's like added to because it's always served over ice. And so you also get dilution happening in the cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
It's not the thing that I'm particularly excited about, but I remain open to be proven wrong.
I'm happy for it, not as a representation of coffee, but as just like a yummy drink that I'm adding some cream and flavors to or something.
Ben, what do you think about co-fermented?
Yeah, here we go.
My hot take, my hot take response of it is that I think that it is a powerful tool for better equity in the coffee supply chain.
Hey.
And what I mean by that is that I think we have the opportunity for amazing flavors and interesting things for consumers who will be going, oh, what is that peach characteristic, that lychee, that thing in there in my coffee?
Peach.
It's actually peach.
And it's cheaper if you just buy cheap peach.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but the whole idea is if you can co-ferment, which is meaning that you're adding in another product during the coffee fermentation to influence the flavor. If you co-ferment with things, there's a real opportunity here for essentially flavored beverages. So this is the difference maybe than like a pump of peach syrup, right? Is that you're fermenting with this. And I think that it is pretty interesting because you can use lower grade base coffee, but you can, or maybe lower grade and things that just isn't as particularly distinctive. You can co-ferment, increase the value of that product. And then there's the potential for it to be marketed out as something that's like a natural kind of product, right? It's like actual peaches, actual coffee, instead of a synthetic or a syrup that's added. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. I don't love drinking a lot of it because I think that often it's overdone. There's exactly. There's very little subtlety to it.
Like natural wines, and maybe that's not a bad analogy, but I feel like we're at the beginning of it and there needs to be like a lot of work to actually make it good. Yes. I don't think any of it's very good right now.
Yeah.
But I think with time and innovation and technology, we'll get it better and better. And we'll look at subtleties, a nice thing. Interesting sensory thing. Whenever I've had some of those, I also think that co-fermented coffees taste better with like milk as like a kind of drink. But the perceived sweetness without actually adding sugar, for whatever reason, if I'm like, I'm tasting strawberry or peach, my mind tells me it's sweeter than what it actually is.
Yep.
So it does kind of take away that adding sugars and stuff to your coffee.
Yeah. So I'm not, I'm excited that it's an area of innovation and experimentation happening. And I look forward to kind of seeing how it'll all emerge.
You know what I look forward to? I look forward to giving Hendri a little shout out to someone in the industry that they think maybe needs a little light shone on them, that isn't getting enough attention and is doing an amazing job. Hendri, do you have someone to give a shout out to?
I just want to give a shout out to my fellow volunteers whether it's judge or timekeepers or whatever, we make it happen. We make the competition happen.
Yeah.
So to all volunteers there,
Yeah, it's an incredible achievement. Nice work,
Great.
volunteers.
Bigs up.
Yeah, we've got the world competition coming up very shortly in October in host, and it is going to be full of people who are volunteering their time, their expertise, and thousands of dollars to be there.
Yeah.
So I mirror your shout out. And wait, am I shouting out myself?
I think you are.
I think I'm shouting out myself there. I'm like, go us.
Well, I'll give the shout out because I'm not volunteering my time. You guys are amazing. Where would the coffee industry be without people like you? Thank you. I love you both dearly. All right. Hendri, where can people find you? Your course or school that you're running?
For the moment, just like find me on my Instagram. I think it's my
What's the ad?
my main social media. The Fat Uncle.
Oh, yeah.
PHAT Uncle.
Sorry, I cut you off. What was it again?
PHAT Uncle. PHAT Uncle. The Fat Uncle.
with a PH for fat.
Oh.
PHAT. Yeah.
Amazing.
Nice.
You can find me
On
there
Instagram,
for the
and then
moment.
was it Jakarta Coffee Week? Was that right?
Yes, the Instagram is the JKT
Great.
Coffee Week.
And then you also part of a new fun competition format.
I create the Tarung Tiga. It's a throwdown. It's a coffee throwdown. So 3 people brew together, and I don't need the judge there because the brewers will be the judge.
Oh, cool.
You've worked yourself out of a job.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your insights. It's been great. I've learned a lot. Ben, thank you as well because you've been giving us some great insights too. So
you're
thank you to
welcome.
both of you. And again, thank you for your commitment to the specialty coffee world. If
Okay.
and
Thank you.
if you want to hear more from us, or not hear from us, if you want to ask us anything, you can email us at hello@itsjustcoffeepod.com. Keep on subscribing to that pod. Honk the button. If you're listening to us right now on Spotify, Apple, whatever, just pull up your phone, press that subscribe button. Because I tell you what's weird, the regular listeners is like 4 times what the subscriber numbers are, but it's regular listeners. Just press the subscribe button. It helps us.
You get the notifications. You get all of the hot releases coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening. And Ben,
Yes.
if you were to judge me right now, you've got to be quick on your feet.
6 out of 6 visual appeal.
Hell yeah! See you later, guys.
Cheers.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Hendri.
you.